Just as an FYI, we will be posting this on our webpage and on our social media links for future reference. So without further ado, my name is Jared Sherwood. I'm a customer account analyst here at MCE. I've been working at MCE for a little over 2 years now, mainly on our customer side, helping you all understand what MCE is, how we work in terms of your electricity bill, and some ways that you could possibly save some money. So I'll be co-presenting with my colleague over at PG&E, Jessica Chancellor, and I'll give her a moment to tell you about some of the great work she does.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jared. My name is Jessica Chancellor. I am first and foremost an avid dog lover. So hopefully there's some friends on the webinar tonight that are avid dog lovers as well. I am a principal product manager with Pacific Gas and Electric Company. I have been with the company for a little more than 12 years, and I've held various roles. Mostly related to project management, incorporating some communications and change management as well into projects. I feel that that's really important. One of the reasons I'm here with you all this evening is to help you with this change that's coming up. I also work very closely with all of our community choice aggregators, which are CCAs that are in our territory, such as MCE, to ensure that our CCAs are included in all things related to electric rate change. So I'm happy and thrilled to be here this evening to share some information about a change that's coming your way and ensure that you have more information about electric rate options and programs that can help you save some money.
Awesome. Thanks, Jessica. And we do have a third panelist over here, Dolly, who's joining us live from Cooley Quarry over in Novato, one of the local soul projects here at MCE. But all just jokes aside, I'm really glad for all of you to join us today and have a little discussion on understanding what the time of use transition is and your rate options. Let's get started. First, our agenda tonight will go into a little bit of background. What is MCE and how we work with PG&E to deliver your electricity services? Secondly, we'll go into some of the rate options, those rates that are currently available and what most people are enrolled in, but then also some of the new rates that have come online in the last few years, specifically some of the time of use rates. And on that note, we will then go into kind of the time of use transition and the statewide effort to kind of help customers move from into these time of use rates and go into the benefits, not only for your wallet potentially, but also for the grid. And then finally, we might as well, we might as well talk about some of the assistance programs that customers can take advantage of to, again, help reduce some of those electricity costs and those and their bill. So firstly, a little bit of background. Let's go into a little bit of background on how your electricity service works here. So when we come into your community and start serving you, we source and buy and build new clean renewable energy sources, put those onto the grid on your behalf, and that is called electric generation services. And then PG&E is still responsible for delivering that energy to your home. And that's where it comes in, and they charge you for electric delivery services. And you as the customer, when MCE comes into your local community, you benefit from receiving a higher percentage of renewable energy. MCE provides in our base product over 60% renewable energy, and you have the option to sign up for Deep Green, which is up to 100% renewable energy. So MCE's goal is to go out and build new renewable energy sources here in California and throughout the West. We put those onto the grid, and then PG&E is then responsible for delivering that electricity to your home. And you as the customer benefit from ongoing renewable sources coming to your home, as well as the high maintenance of the grid from PG&E. So one great way to really differentiate what PG&E does and what MCE does is to look at your energy statement. So before MCE comes into your community and starts serving you with our generation services, this is what the typical bill would look like. You would have all of your electric charges shown as one line item, because that is what PG&E used to provide both the generation source service and the delivery service. So that was charged to your account as one line item before, but there were two services, both of those services being provided by PG&E. Now that MCE comes into your community, and we provide your electric generation charges and services. So with MCE, we have a separate line item that shows MCE electric generation charges and the cost of service for us going out and purchasing and building new renewable energy sources and putting that onto the grid on your behalf. And then PG&E continues to deliver that electricity service to your home reliably. And PG&E will charge you for that electricity service, safely transporting this energy from where it's produced, where MCE is building these renewable energy projects, to where you live. And that's what PG&E charges you for. These are not duplicate charges. These are two separate services that prior to MCE were both provided by PG&E. And now that MCE is your electric generation provider, there's going to be a separate line item for that service on your bill. To keep things simple, we put both of the charges on your PG&E energy statement, so you can continue to pay your bill as normal and receive the great benefits of MCE and are providing a higher portion of renewable energy. So that's just a little bit of background on MCE, our service, how we are integrated into your electricity service. But I want to pass it over to Jessica, who can go into kind of your rate options, and not only how do you kind of pay your bill, but what are the different rate options in which you can be enrolled to find the most cost-effective plan for you.
Thanks, Jared. Okay, so here comes the real fun part, in my opinion, which is talking about electric rates. And when it comes to electric rates, PG&E and MCE both understand that it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. So really, you have some flexibility in what kind of electric rate plan option you would like to choose for your household. And it is completely up to you which rate plan option you choose. There are three different types of rate plans for residential services. We have first our time of use rate plans, which don't just matter how much energy you use, but also when you use your energy. So think about it literally in the descriptive name here, that your costs are based on what time of day you're using your energy, as well as how much energy. The really great thing about time of use rate plans is that these rate plans provide control to customers on managing their bill more than a lot of the other rate plans. Because if you can shift or conserve some of your energy usage to the off-peak periods, and I'll explain a bit more about that in just a moment, then you usually can save money on a time of use rate plan. We also have a tiered rate plan. Some people more commonly know this as E1. That's more of a basic name for it. And this actually is the rate plan that most customers are currently on. And with this rate plan, what it means is the more you use, the more you pay. So you have a lot of flexibility and when you use your energy, but costs do increase quite a bit more when you are using more energy. So really the only way to save on this rate plan is to simply use less. And sometimes people can't do that. You have a certain amount of energy that you need to use for your household, and maybe conserving is not something that you can more easily do, but you may be able to shift the time of day that you use your energy. And then lastly, we have an electric vehicle rate plan options and battery storage. And those are just as they sound. They are designed for customers who have either an electric vehicle or they have battery storage at their home. So if you have one or both of those items, then one of those rate plans may be best for you. Next slide. Okay, so let's look a little bit more into a tiered rate. As I said, this is the one that most customers are on, and that is the same for MCE customers. Again, it's more commonly referred to as E1. And again, this is the more you use, the more you pay. It's that simple. So you can see there at the bottom, tier 1 is the lowest rate. It's a certain amount of usage. Once you exceed that threshold, you get charged a higher rate. And then in tier 2, once you exceed that threshold, you again get pushed into a higher rate, even beyond that. So the most important thing to know about this tiered rate is in order to manage your bill a little bit more, you want to make sure that you are conserving, reducing your energy usage as much as possible. Okay. Next slide. Now here's a look at time of use rates. There are a few different varied time of use rate plan options. The one that is I'm going to talk to you a bit more about today is time of use peak pricing 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. everyday rate plan. That's a mouthful. That's a lot. But the good news is it is exactly how you want to use energy on that rate plan. So stay away from the peak periods of 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. every day. We also call this ETOUC. You don't have to remember all of these things. In a moment, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can figure out how to determine what is the best rate plan for you personally. But as what you can see here, just as I said, you have a bit more control over managing your bill when you are using or you're on a time of use rate plan. And that is because if you can use energy during the off-peak periods, which is 19 hours of each day, then you usually can save money because that's the lowest price for kilowatt hours for energy service that you can get. And then you have your 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. where you can see there, it has the $2 signs. That is the period of time that your pricing is going to be higher. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't use energy during that time. That's a common question I get. Well, that's during the time I'm cooking dinner, right? Well, me too. And nobody's saying that you have to have a candlelit dinner at home unless you choose to. So you can use energy during the 4 to 9 p.m. window. It's just better for your bill if you can shift some of that energy to a different time. Now, there is a way to determine what is the best rate plan for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We'll go ahead and move to the next slide. And we'll go to the next one. Okay, so before we get to how to determine the best rate plan for you, let's talk a bit about the time of use transition that's currently underway. For the state of California, the California Public Utility Commission has mandated that all investor-owned utilities move customers who are on a tiered rate plan to a time of use rate plan. So we are not alone in this. PG&E and MCE are partners in this, but also San Diego Gas and Electric and Southern California Edison. They have also time of use transitions as well. And the reason for this is California has really aggressive energy goals. So we are trying to make the state more energy with renewable resources, because we need to make sure that we have a reliable electric grid for all of our customers, you and I. So when we turn on the lights, we actually have lights, and there's no concern about power outages, for rolling blackouts, maybe not being able to meet the demand. And so what time of use does is it incentivizes customers by offering them a lower rate to use energy outside of the peak times. What the peak times are when customers have the highest demand on the electric grid. Everyone's at home, they're watching TV, they're probably also doing laundry, they're cooking, whatever it is that they're doing in their household, right? Well, if we give them a price break to use energy outside of the peak window, then that's an incentive to use energy during that off-peak time. And that also helps us to meet the demand for other customers on the grid during those demand times. So that's kind of the reason why, in a nutshell, we're doing the time of use transition, and it helps us with our renewable energy goals. So that's why that's probably the most common last question about the time of use transition. So let's take a look at the next slide. Okay, so I talked a bit about this rate comparison, or how do you know what is the best rate plan for you? Rates can be very complicated, so they're inherently that way. And nobody expects customers to be a rate plan expert. There's a lot to know about different electrical rate plans. So there is a tool that is available for you online. If you go to pge.com /rates or rate choices, you can go to either one. But if you go to pge.com, you will see that there is a sign in for an online account. Now you can either sign in as a registered customer. Maybe you already have an online account at pge.com. And if you don't, you can register one very easily with information you likely have on hand right now, or you can enter as a guest. So you don't have to actually register an account to do this. Literally, once you get online, signed in, there is a box that says manage your rate plan. Now, when you click on this box or this button, then you will see what is presented to you on the screen right now on the right-hand side. So it says here, most customers will have this. You are currently enrolled in this rate plan. And you see there's a little green check mark and it says tiered rate plan E1. Now it tells you that this customer's estimated annual cost for this rate plan is $860. Now, if you look to the right of that, another electric rate plan option for this customer is time of use, peak pricing, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. everyday rate plan, also known as ETOUC. Now it's telling you the estimated cost is $850. And then below that, there on the left-hand side, it says time of use peak pricing, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the weekdays, and it's ETOUD. And the cost for that one is $930. And then to the right of that is home charging, EV2A, and that's the electric vehicle battery storage rate plan for $905 estimated annual cost. Now, the really great thing about this is the tool is looking at your usage personally, and it is figuring out based on how you have used energy over the past year period, what time of day you've used it and how much. And it's figuring out your personalized estimates for your annual costs. So you can simply click that button, manage your rate plan, and let the tool do the work for you and telling you what is the lowest cost rate plan for your household. Now, keep in mind, if you can reduce some of your usage, or if you choose the time of use rates, one of them, and you can shift some of your usage to the off-peak period, you can lower that cost even more. If you use more, then your costs are going to be higher. So it just it's dependent on how you use energy. And this personalized rate plan comparison is based on each customer's household personally, how they're using energy. So you can get more information about the time of use transition by going to pge.com/TOU choice. You can also click the rate comparison button there as well to see what your estimated annual costs are. And if you want to try out one of these rate plans, all you have to do is simply click the circle radial button for whatever rate plan it is you want to try. And then at the bottom of the screen, there is going to be an option for you to choose next, and where you can then enroll in that rate plan. Now, the really great thing is that by choosing a different rate plan, you get a chance to try this out. But if you don't like it, you can always change back. So it's not, you're not locked in to a rate plan necessarily by changing. So again, just know that you have rate plan options, and you do have a chance to try rate plans out. And we allow at least one change per 12 months, but we're currently allowing 2 at this time. So, and then if you're part of the time of use transition and you transition in your time period, which for MCE customers predominantly is March, which is just in a couple months from now, then you get to try out the time of use C rate plan, which is the peak pricing 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. everyday rate plan, risk-free. We call that bill protection. So what that means is that if you end up spending more on your time of use C rate plan after a year period of time than you would have on your E1 tiered rate plan, which would be your prior rate plan, then we will credit you back the difference automatically. So you get to try it out risk-free. And MCE is a partner in that as well. So you get to try out the time of use C rate plan risk-free. It only applies to that rate plan. And you do need to be part of the transition for that to happen. Okay, next slide.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica, for going over all of the different rate options that we have and kind of prefacing the transition that most MCE customers will be transitioning in March. That leads me to kind of sharing some of the great news is this transition is set to really benefit a lot of MCE customers in terms of saving money on their bill. So over 75% of MCE's customers are expected to save money without changing any habits when they are transitioned to one of those TOU rates. We benefit here with coastal climates that just are favorable to having rates that benefit from 19 hours throughout the day of being a lower price electricity rate. And one of the great things is even without changing habits, most customers are expected to save some money, but because you have some control over the price that you pay for electricity, there's even more ways that you can save. So some of the simple ways and things that I've tried to adopt in my day-to-day routine, because I live in San Francisco, and as Jessica mentioned, this is a statewide transition. So as a San Francisco customer, I've already been transitioned to TOU rates and have been able to really see an impact on my bill, especially with just adopting a few minor behavior changes. So some common things that you can do to save significant money on your bills when signed up for these TOU rates is running large appliances during the off-peak hours. So I try to schedule my laundry on the weekends during the day, on Sundays when I'm watching football, or during the daytime when I'm really not having much to do. And then also what's great is technology is really benefiting in terms of pre-cooling homes and scheduling, having smart thermostats that allow you to reduce your energy use during that 4 to 9 peak. So if you have a Nest thermostat, it's highly recommended to pre-cool your home during the off-peak hours. And then at 4 p.m., you can automatically have your thermostat go up and reduce kind of that air conditioning load during that peak time period. As we mentioned, there are rates specific to electric vehicle owners that have added benefits and even lower off-peak rates during the evening times. So it really encourages those folks to charge their electric vehicles overnight and during the daytime. And that goes for all large electronics. So charging computers, tablets, or other systems that might draw a lot of energy, try to plug those types of electronics in during the day time and avoid plugging those in after 4. And then also battery systems. More and more customers are installing batteries onto their homes just to both benefit from more reliability, but also because these time of use rates offer another incentive for battery systems in terms of having the ability to schedule those battery systems discharge during your peak hours. So if you charge your battery during the middle of the day, during off-peak hours, and then schedule a battery to discharge during the peak hours, essentially there's a price differential and you save money directly per kilowatt hour that you use when scheduling those systems appropriately. So there's multiple ways for people to save, just having more control over their energy and having rates that really incentivize customers to use energy during the time of day in which the price of energy is lower. As we all know, in California, we've been very, very successful in having solar. There's plenty of solar on the grid during the daytime. So we are really trying to encourage customers to use that energy and try to shift away from the 4 to 9 peak during the daytime so we can maximize the amount of renewable energy that we use here in California. Awesome. So those are just the basic ways that you can save money in terms of rates. And as we mentioned, a lot of customers will be saving money generally without having to change their behaviors with the TOU rates. But we also wanted to take some time to go into some other bill assistance programs that you might be interested in that can further reduce your cost of electricity service. So firstly, in the most common program that MCE and PG&E customers are a part of are the CARE and FARA programs. So this is the California Alternative Rates for Energy program and the Family Electric Rate Assistance program. Those are both income qualified monthly discounts that can range from 18 to 35% of your total monthly bill. And again, both PG&E and MCE's customers qualify for these for CARE, FARA, and actually all of these bill assistance programs that we'll be going over. Secondly, there's the LIHEAP and REACH, which is another long acronym that you can click onto our Lower Your Bill if you want to kind of go into a little bit more details and actually find the links to these programs. But LIHEAP and REACH, these are great one-time credit assistance programs that help customers pay off their utility balances. And if you're in any worry of possible disconnection, you can reach out to these programs to, again, get that one-time credit assistance to pay off and avoid disconnection. Another great beneficial program for our customers is the medical baseline program. So we have a lot of customers that might rely on medical equipment, and a lot of these medical devices might use large amounts of energy. So to not necessarily penalize those customers, we have a specific program that allows these customers to use a certain additional allotment of energy at that lowest price before we move them up into those higher tiers and surcharges. And an additional great benefit of signing up for the medical baseline program is that there's additional outreach during our public safety power shutoffs and any other type of electrical outage. So if the power were to go off at your home, if you're signed up in this program, there are additional steps in terms of outreach to make sure that you have the resources and the ability to continue to receive electricity power, even during the time in which there might be an outage in your community. And then finally, one of the newer and more exciting programs that we'd like to share today is the Arrearage Management Plan. So this is a debt forgiveness program that could surmount to up to $8,000 in past utility debts being forgiven. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on the AMP or Arrearage Management Plan, but just so everybody is clear on and has these resources, please visit mcecleanenergy.org/lower bill, and all of these different programs and the qualifications for these programs and the links to sign up are all available on that one great webpage. So I encourage you to visit that. And then in terms of the Arrearage Management Program, so this is a debt forgiveness program that was launched this year in 2021 in response to kind of the COVID pandemic and ongoing just utility assistance in utility costs. So this program allows for customers to kind of pay off up to $8,000 in past debts. And how it works is 1/12 of your debt is forgiven with each time you pay a bill on time. So we're not going to necessarily make you pay for the cost or the debts that you incurred prior, but so long as you remain current on your current charges, your current electricity bills, we will pay off that debt over 12 months. And if you continue to pay on time for 12 months, the full amount of that debt will be forgiven, up to $8,000 again. So a few of those eligibility criteria are being a CARE or FAIR customer, which is a low income criteria program, which you can find more information on that lower bill page. The other stipulation is that you must owe at least $500. So if you could owe up to over $500, up to $8,000 can be enrolled into this arrearage management plan. And that is both arrears for MCE and PG&E. So both of those arrears would be enrolled into this program. So that debt also needs to be at least 90 days past due. And then also you are required to be a PG&E customer for at least 6 months. This is open to both MCE and PG&E customers, so you don't necessarily have to be an MCE customer for 6 months, but you do have to have an active account with PG&E for at least 6 months, and then again, hit those other 3 criteria. If you are interested in this program and think you might be qualified, I would highly encourage you to call PG&E at 1-800-743-5000, and you'll be able to get some assistance and actually enroll on the phone at the time that you call. The representative should be able to assist you and get you enrolled into the program and have you start paying down that past balance as quickly as possible. So really great program that we're excited for and want to push and hope that you take advantage of it if you are qualified. And then finally, to wrap, we always like to give some crime prevention tips. It has unfortunately become more common, especially during the holiday periods where scams arise. And MCE and PG&E both want to make you aware of some of these crime prevention tips. So MCE does not go door to door. We will not come and knock on your door asking you to sign up for any programs or asking you for personal information or to look at your bill. I would be very cautious of anyone that does come to your door and asks for your bill or personal information, as they might try to represent. We unfortunately have seen instances where they have fraudulently represented themselves as the MCE or PG&E. So we want to reiterate that we will not come up to your door asking to sign you up for services or asking for personal information. And some of that personal information that we really, really do not want our customers to be sharing with anybody is PG&E account numbers. So a PG&E account number prevents that is a unique identifier that if somebody were to gain that information, they could essentially take actions on your account if if they wanted to. So do not share that PG&E account number with other third parties. And then secondly, social security numbers, credit cards, and bank accounts. Those are just some of the basic personal informations that we really encourage you all to think twice in terms of when you're sharing that with us, with any other third parties. So, and that wraps everything up. So I think, Jessica, if you might hit on and summarize a couple of the main topics that we hit today, but thanks again, everybody, for your time.
Yeah, great explanation, Jared. Those programs are super helpful. So as Jared mentioned, be sure to check them out. One of the really great things about those programs is that you can be enrolled in more than one at the same time. So it's not, you don't have to pick or choose which one you enroll in. You do have the ability to enroll in more than one based on whatever you're eligible for. So that's really good news for anyone, any customer that's able to maybe enroll. But if we've given you a ton of information today, some of it's pretty complicated. And if you leave here with nothing else, please leave here knowing that you have options when it comes to your electric rate plans. So go online, run that personalized rate plan comparison, and see if you can save money simply by just changing your rate. That happens a lot for customers. So check it out. Why not save $50 or more, literally just by doing nothing other than changing your rate? And then in addition to that, know that there's a time of use transition that's coming. You do have an option for that though. We've already been sending notifications to households that are part of the transition. So be on the lookout for those. A notification was sent out, let's see, probably about a month or so ago, and we'll be sending another notification alerting you to this change about 30 days prior to when that rate plan change will go into effect. So just be on the lookout for those and know that you have a choice. You do not have to transition if you don't want to. But the best way to figure that out is to go online and see if in fact there is a better rate plan option for you. And then lastly, check out those assistance programs. Jared has given you a URL, a web link address that houses a lot of information. And I think he's going to put it in the chat. So then that way you guys can easily click on it and check into the eligibility for you to enroll in that. Or simply give us a call at the contact center, 1-800-743-5000, and we'll be happy to assist you with potentially enrolling you in the various programs. So thanks so much for the time tonight to talk about this. And I think we can take questions.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Jessica. And I failed to mention this at the beginning, but feel free to drop questions in the chat function, or you can raise your hand. We do have the ability to unmute folks if they would like to ask a question directly, or again, if you just want to drop it in the chat, we'd be happy to cover it. And we do hope to supply this PowerPoint to those that signed up as a resource, because there's a lot of links, good information that you all can reference in the future to kind of take actions and continue to kind of stay aware of everything.
So I have to ask you, Jared, have you ran the personalized rate plan comparison for yourself?
I did. Well, as you mentioned, we did get the 90-day and the 30-day notifications. And on that 90-day notifications, it outlined all of the different rate options and what those costs would estimated to be. And it was a clear winner that it would be a lot cheaper on ETOUC. Not much of a answer or comparison, I guess. You just tell me to save money and I'll go click the link. So you don't have to ask me twice. But again, yeah, it's really great to have that opportunity to actually kind of see the benefits sometimes, because you do shift and take concerted efforts to shift your behavior, and you can actually see lower bills. And it's exciting to see sometimes. As nerdy as that sounds, I get excited over electricity bills.
No, I get it. I'm right there with you. I have heard of families who have designated people to be like an energy scout. And there's a person, designated that walks around the house anytime, looking to shut off lights, turn off appliances when they shouldn't be on, if there's laptops or whatnot that are running and nobody's using them, shut them down to save energy. So it's nice to have it be like really a family affair.
Yes, definitely. Luckily, I don't have my parents or anything living with me down my back anymore. It's all on me. I do have that, but again, it's good to be conscious of those decisions. I did see one question trickle in. I think that's from Martin. So yeah, great question on some of the ways not only to shift your usage, but how can you just save money overall and maybe kind of reduce. So we do have a great energy savings programs in terms just for residential customers. I will drop that in the chat right now. But these programs allow for customers to take advantage of energy efficiency rebates, or help customers install maybe a smart thermostat. So just simple ways to reduce your energy use overall. And that's not necessarily when you're using it, because that's more of a behavior thing, but just the efficiencies in helping customers install water heaters that are more efficient, helping customers install or purchase electric vehicles and such. So there's a lot of great resources on MCE's website on that home savings, and then just on the residential savings site as well, and as well as through PG&E's site. So we encourage you to take advantage of energy efficiency rebates and other things that are out there to help us reduce our energy use.
There is a specific program, I think you were kind of referring to it. It's called Energy Savings Assistance Program. And with that program, it does help customers to make the home more energy efficient. And in turn, then the home uses less energy. So it saves the customer money on their bill. The really cool thing about this program is that you don't actually have to own your home to get assistance from this. It is a limited income program. But if you have a limited income household, whether you rent or own the home, you're able to still get the benefits of this program. And they do things just as Jared was explaining, like changing out thermostats, helping to weatherize the home, such as weather stripping, caulking. Sometimes it is replacement of certain appliances that might be using more energy. If you are renting your home, you do have to have the owner's permission to make those changes in the home. But good news is that most owners, they are happy to accommodate changes, especially when it's being done for free, and just improves the efficiency of the home overall. So definitely check those out.
Great info. Yeah, I dropped the link to the program that you're mentioning there to PG&E's website. So thanks. I didn't see any other, but I did have a couple common questions that I've been asked and kind of wanted to highlight. So one, we did speak about bill protection, and that is a great way for customers to kind of be reassured that at least for 12 months, they won't be paying more than they would have. So, and Zay I guess I read Zay's mind, because I did see the bill protection piece come up in the chat. But yeah, as we were saying, bill protection, it's 12 months. If after that 12 months you were charged more under your ETOUC rate or ETOUD rate, if you were charged more under that rate than you would have under your E1 flat rate, we will both PG&E and MCE will provide an on-bill credit after that 12 months for the differential. So if under ETOUC you paid $125 over the year, and under E1 you were only going to pay $100, at the end of 12 months we would apply $25 of bill credits to your bill automatically. You don't have to reach out. This bill protections, again, it's an automatic enrollment for those that are all eligible, and it will be automatically applied to your bill. So for at least 12 months, you can be rest assured that you will be getting the lowest cost of service possible, regardless of the rate. But again, most people will be benefiting on time of use rates. So we really do encourage you to try it out at least.
Now, even though we recommend, to add on to that, we recommend that customers stay on the rate plan for 12 months. You can change your rate plan. You don't have to be on the rate plan for 12 months. And the way that the bill protection would work, if you were to only be on the rate plan for, say, 6 months or 9 months, and you decide, I think I want to change back to my tiered rate plan or a different rate plan. Whatever the calculation is at that point, up to 12 months is the difference that you would be credited or it would be determined on. So just as Jared said, after 9 months, if your bill was $125 in total for that period, just keeping math simple, I would love $125 bill for 9 months.
Definitely use lower numbers as I wish.
Yes, but just keeping the math simple. It doesn't matter how long you're on the rate plan. You still get the bill protection for the period that you're on it for up to 12 months. So whichever happens first, either you reach 12 months or you change your rate plan, or you move and you have to transfer service, same thing. You'd still get the bill protection for that period. And just clarifying point, it is only available for the ETOUC rate plan. So that is, if you do try out another time of use rate plan or a different rate plan, the other rate plans do not have bill protection.
Thank you for that clarification. Yep. So we do ETOUC. That is the rate that people will be defaulted to, or default transition. So if you were to not take any action at all in terms of declining the transition, you would be enrolled into the ETOUC rate on your March billing cycle, and you would automatically be enrolled into bill protection as well.
Yep. Okay.
Awesome. I do not see any other. Do you have any other common questions, Jessica, that are, because I know you've done this a couple of times with different CCAs.
I would, near 100 now. So it's a lot. I would say probably the only other common question is that customers who are not as familiar with time of use rate plans, they have concerns that if you're on a time of use rate plan, that PG&E has the ability to shut your service off at any time during high demand periods. That is not the case. PG&E does not limit usage related to what kind of rate plan that you're on. So you have the ability as a customer to use energy as you need to, regardless of what rate plan you're on, and that is the same for MCE customers. So no, you have flexibility in when you use your energy, but the way your billing is calculated is based on your rate plan and how much and when you use energy in some cases.
Awesome. Yep, very great point. And then lastly, I think one of the other questions we often get is, how do you decline the transition? And we just want to reiterate that you do have a choice. This is not being forced upon you. customers will be automatically transitioned to ETOUC if they don't take any actions. But the ways that you do take action is you can log on to your PG&E account and go to that TOU choice and choose your rate plan, or you can go and do one of those rate comparisons. And if you want to stay on your E1 rate, you can choose to stay on your E1 rate. You will receive, again, 30-day and 90-day notifications about this transition. And on those notices, there will be more detailed information on how to decline, such as calling PG&E's number or sending in an email or other just contacts. And there's actually a business reply card on that notification that if you were to want to mail it, you can actually fill out that reply card and send it in to PG&E to make your choice of which rate or to decline this. So really want to reiterate that this is a choice, and the goal of this is to offer more choices in terms of rates for our customers, particularly rates that we see as benefiting California and your wallet in the end. So I think that's all of the questions from the panel and that I could think of, and we're coming up on 7:50. So I really appreciate everybody's time for joining us today and being an engaged audience and having such great questions. So, and we did add our contact information at the beginning of the presentation. If you do have questions, feel free to reach out to us directly, Jessica or I. And then we also have the basic PG&E customer care centers and the MCE customer care centers that if you have any general questions, please always feel free to call those phone numbers or shoot us email to our respective companies. So again, thank you very much, and hope to see you all benefiting from these new time of use rates.
Yeah, thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, Jessica.
Thanks, Jared. Bye.